Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 744. This one is about what are we talking about here today? Oh, the truth about trusteeship. As always gotta talk about the truth from our perspective. I definitely appreciate everybody. A lot of trustees, a lot of older trustees are going to enjoy these episodes. A lot of the newer trustees, you guys don't really know who we are, but we'll do our best to keep the door open where you all can listen and be welcomed into trusteeship. So a lot of people say they have a trust. A lot of people want to have a trust. But first of all, we're in trust. That's why we're able to talk about it in the public. We're able to talk about it in the public from a private perspective because we're in it. We're aware of it. We're clear on that. So, the credibility comes from actually living it. And so that's what we're here to talk about. The truth. The truth could be different for you, but at the end of the day, we're sharing with you some of the things that we're aware of that at the end of the day, if you're not aware of these things, you're not in. That's why we don't see you in the rooms where people say they have generational wealth, because there's a difference between talking about generational wealth and actually doing the work. And that's just one of the things that we've seen. We could start out the conversation about the truth in trusteeship is that way too many employees are trying to make the transition. You don't even want to know. It's like you trying to not fall off the cliff. You don't even know. Poverty was destined for you. Oh, Church Christian, how could you say something like that? First of all, there is numbers, there are statistics. So you have to make it a point in your mind to say, I'm not going to do what the ones that are the statistics in the category that I don't want to be in are doing. You have to make that decision. Some people want to sit here and say, oh, Trust Christian, I'm going to try to play both sides of the fence. I'm going to serve two masters. No, you're not. That's why you're not wealthy. You hear the difference? You get wealthy when you do the things that are necessary. We were sitting here thinking about that this past 7 days, and one of the mentors he told us to get rid of your smartphone. Now, this is like it's gonna be controversial. Oh, Trust Christian, you don't know what you're talking about. I know people that have social media business. They make $1 million a year. But do you have a social media business? We're not saying that you can't make $1 million with with a smartphone or a social media business. But if you don't have a social media business, some people can say, "Oh, well, aren't you supposed to post your business on that?" Whatever you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna do. But what we're talking about is what the mentor shared with us. Said, Trust Christian, you gotta get rid of your smartphone in order to have the million. You're like, oh man, there's no way. Why? Because we were very comfortable with not having a business on the internet anymore. You got to know the industry that you want to be in, and you got to know how you want to move. And so, when you start telling yourself these type of things like, "Oh, I'm comfortable with not having a business on the internet," then okay, what do you need a smartphone for? So I can get the emails. What, spam to your business? If the business is getting the emails, it will just go to the business email and you check that. Some people may say, "Oh, I gotta check my email all the time." That's what they're gonna say. It's so funny because we love the company BlackBerry at this point at the Vault. Like that company pioneered the instant message, which is if somebody sends you a message to your cell phone, you're supposed to automatically reply within a at least a 24-hour period. That's just what they did. Why? Because they said that you have access to it now. And so we see trustees gonna sit here and say, "Oh, Trust Christian, I don't want to be a trustee." Okay, well, are you doing the work? Trustees know that they gotta do the work. Trustees know how much work they gotta do. They know this, but y'all don't want to hear the truth. Y'all ready for the truth? Truth is about trusteeship is. See, Trust Christian's been surrounded by trustees his for the most part most of his life. And we used to look a trustee dead in his eyes, and he wouldn't even tell us he was a trustee. And he was a trustee. And this trustee had to take up time away from his family to go on business trips. This is just something that people that build generational wealth sometimes do. They're not working a job. They don't go home every day after work. That's just not the way it is. So when you hear this type of thought process, some people will say, "Oh man, I gotta go home every night." Well, if you gotta go home every night, trusteeship, doing the work, might not be for you. And it's something that, Trust Christian had to get comfortable with, which is, you know, you have your relatives and your family, and you think that these people are, they're going to aid you in your generational wealth process, building process, and sure they are, but in all actuality, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking to the families that are non-generational wealth families. First of all, if you come from a generational wealth family, it would clearly be easy for you to talk to them about money and starting a business. But the ones that don't, you're just bear hunting with a buggy whip. You're trying to get water from wine. You're just trying to get water from a rock. Oh man, how come my family is? How come my family doesn't want to do it with me? How come my family doesn't sit in here and have the meetings and have the discipline? Well, think about it. Are they a generational wealth mindset? How could you be upset that they don't want to have a formal meeting once a week about finances? Oh man, I love my family. Yeah, you do love your family. But for some odd reason, you can't have a conversation with them about money once a week. And not only have it in a manner in which it's just an open conversation, it's actually planning for the future. These are simple things. They might seem complex or complicated if you've never done it before, but for families that are comfortable with the meetings, comfortable with planning, they have an advantage. Why? Because they're doing it. The harsh truth or the truth, the trusteeship, you got to do the meetings. So let's get into this. The truth, the trusteeship for the trustees that's already on board. Trustees, y'all already know. It's going to come down to you making a decision that you're going to be the trustee for the rest of your life. This ain't no job now. This isn't a, oh man, trust Christian, I would try to be the best trustee for a little bit. If I fail at it, this ain't a business. It's your family estate. We want to make this very clear. This is not a job. This is not a business. It's your family estate. Oh, I'll be a trusteeship though. Right. So you know the difference now. You know that people are playing around with it. We got trustees talking about, oh yeah, I still haven't done what I'm supposed to do. Why? Because you don't believe. And that's why you should get your assets taken from you. You don't want to hear that, but guess what? It's either Trust Christian getting it or it's going to be another wealthy family getting it. Why? Because they understand how it works. What are you talking about? You don't know how to title the deed of the property over. You don't know how to title the car over. You don't know how to title the land over. You don't know how to go put a temporary agreement in place that the family estate is going to buy the property from you, the debtor, because you're still acting like a debtor. That's why. Because you're acting like a debtor instead of acting like a creditor, which means you're free of all debts, which means you can never pay a debt because the government and the system and the current system in the world right now is operating off of pure bankruptcy. So you understand the elite information. You're not just saying, oh, there's no such thing as money. You understand what has been put in place as a substitute for money. It's the fiat. You're not dumbfounded. Oh man, they took gold back in the money in 1970. I know that they took the money from back in the gold, but I don't know what the money would. So how is it? What? Hold on. The value is the gold, but then I don't have. So what's the paper? And then it tells you on the paper that it's backed by your faith. You don't want to hear that? You don't want to hear that? It's backed by your faith. So that's why they can do bankruptcies. You can't have a bankruptcy unless you have the ability to abscond from a debt. The government is supposedly in a bankruptcy. How can you give the government something that they say that they will never be able to get out of? Oh, you're talking that craziness. Yeah, exactly. That's why people are living in what? Debt. The government don't have the debt. Who's the government? The people. Because clearly you don't see the presidents in them operating from a debt position. You don't see the politicians operating from a debt position. But you operating as a citizen from a what? Debt position. But you're not operating as a creditor. Because you don't really know trusteeship yet. You playing around with it. You might not know that trusteeship requires you to just say, you know what? Hey, look, I'm free. I gotta know how to write. For all the ones that want to sit here and say, oh, I gotta learn discharge trust Christian. I'm a discharge the debt. I'm a discharge the debt. It's like, what are you talking about? Did you study it yet? Did you study the UCC? Do you know how to fill out a UCC one? Oh no, Judge Christian, I'm still learning. Good. Keep learning. But at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. We have mentors. We have people in our network that are aware of, share it with us. Hey, like, once you do certain things, you're not going to be able to do certain things. Okay, great. Thanks for letting us know. See, we're going to go ahead and bust a bubble for all the dodo birds out there. Oh, trust Christian, you know, you know, it's not what it seems. It's so hard to quit my job. I don't want to be looked at as a nobody. I don't want to be looked at as a bum because I started a business and I didn't make money the first 6 months. That's what you don't want to tell yourself. That's what you don't want to tell your family. I started a business, I didn't make money the first 6 months. Alright, cool. So we're going to get past that example. We got to get past that example. You care about what the family thinks about what you're doing for the family estate. Did any of them come up with the trust? No. Some of them might be in trust. Some of them might have a will. And that's not helpful to you. Huh? So you learn trusteeship. You gotta learn trusteeship. We'll give you guys an idea. A lot of trustees gonna say, "Oh man, Trust Christian, you don't know, man. I'm out here winging it. I don't want to wing it. Winging it ain't good. You can't wing it to be successful." And you're right. They say, "Oh, what about the formal education classes?" Y'all don't even want to know. One of the formal education classes that we know right now, even from a major institution, billions of dollars, and they have a relationship, they have an endowment with a college. The class is $3,000. What are you talking about? Are you going to invest $3,000 in your private family education to learn how to do something with other wealthy people? Like, that's small. That was just one day. I think that was at like a 3-day event or something like that. And wealthy people congregate together. So it's no, oh, I'm building generational wealth, Trust Christian, but I'm not congregating with other wealthy people. Kiss it goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have a fighting chance. You don't have a fighting chance because you're not in the vibration of wealth. You're not in the vibration of generational wealth. We got people, trustee, come back. Oh man, Trust Christian, you don't really know I'm working as a nurse. It's so hard. And trustees, y'all already know. There's a lot of nurses that have come through, so it's no particular nurse we're talking about. Y'all already know it's a lot of trustees that come through that are nurses. None of y'all need to take it personal. We're giving an example. Trustee comes to us. Oh, I work at the hospital, Trust Christian. So, it's a lot of negative people in the energy. People are living and dying and it's cold inside of here. Okay. You gotta tighten up. You gotta pull yourself out of the ashes. Oh no, Trust Christian, you don't know. We do know. You don't want to know. You don't want to know how hard it is. You don't want to know that you gotta change your mindset. You don't want to know that. Why don't you want to know that? Because then you have to change. That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to leave people behind. I know, Trust Christian, we know how hard it is to leave when you're leaving your family behind. You don't want to know that. You don't want to know that. You don't want to know that you're going to miss your family's birthday party for a damn business meeting. You don't want to know that. So that's why you got a job and you playing it easy. And that's why you're not sitting in the rooms with other wealthy families, because you don't understand that it's about those small things. We're not here to give you a clear direction on yes, no, it can snay, neck can snay. We're not here to give you, oh, you got to do it this way. We're not telling you that, but we are sharing with you the emotional undertaking that it's going to require. Trustees come, oh man, I'm having a hard time getting organized. I'm not organized, Trust Christian. You go pull up your calendar and show me your calendar, Trust Christian. But I don't want to follow a calendar. How you gonna be successful as a business person and you don't have a calendar? How you gonna be successful as a business person and you don't set your calendar? You think the best successful entrepreneurs have their schedule planned out a year in advance. Now, you might think it's impossible having a job. It's just like having a job. Don't they give you 2 weeks of free leave? Then they set your life up? Oh man, you get 2 weeks of vacation. That's setting your life up. You planned it out. We know for the next every day until I take my 2 week leave, I'm gonna be working these days. But did you set that up for your business? Did you set that up for the family estate? Did you set that up? Oh man, Trust Christian, it's so hard. I'm around so many losers. That's what you don't want to admit. You're around losers. And you don't want to call a loser a loser. A loser is a loser. Oh man, Trust Christian, how could you call someone a loser, Trust Christian? Because if you're playing to win something and you lose, you're a loser. It's okay. But you gotta face the fact so you can bounce back and be in a position you want to be in. Oh man, the L is a lesson. You're supposed to learn something from it. You're supposed to learn from yesterday, not cry about the stumble that you took. Oh man, I was running and I failed. So what? Get up. So for the ones that they're gonna get up, we're telling you now. Here's the worst advice, but it's the best advice one of the mentors gave us. So you could live it, read it, and weep. The mentor said, don't quit. You like, oh man. We got one mentor put out a publication one time. They said, you're one out of the few that will take the chance. So okay, there's a few people that are going to take the chance. Let's just say it's 100. It's only going to be 1 or 2 people out of 100. Okay. So it's 1 out of 100. Okay, you 1 out of 100. You took the chance. You 1 out of 1,000. You took the chance. You started this. You're 1 out of 1,000. You 1 out of you ain't 1 out of 1,000,000. You think you 1 out of 1,000,000, but even if you was 1 out of 1,000,000 and you took the chance, and then you still 1 out of 1,000,000 that kept going for a few days and took some action. But then you get to that point. 99 quit. What are you going to do? See it through? Or you going to quit? There's nothing wrong with pivoting, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wrong with pivoting. People don't even understand what that means. They think it's quitting. Oh man, I don't want to quit. No, you have to change the path, change the direction. Doesn't mean the goal changes. It just means the path, the way that you get there. Things you adapt. You think you're going to build generational wealth without a trust? Yeah, you can. And then you'll end up like these actresses and singers and stuff that they don't end up having any money at the end of their life. They pass it on to their children properly, or their estate's tied up in probate because they only had a will, they didn't have a trust. See, people don't want to hear that there's a pattern for success in trusteeship. We don't understand how you don't want to hear it. You go to school for some other subject matter. There's a pattern for success. That's what people have given you. Well, people get in trusteeship, they say, oh, Trust Christian, I want to take a test. I want the paper test. The mentor says, no paper test is living in real life. So then the test is you getting around other trustees and implementing best practices immediately. Implementing best practices. That's what we doing here, Trust Christian. We implement best practices. You gotta implement best practices. Then it turns into a little soft skill. It's not, oh man, I gotta learn this hard stuff, man. It ain't nothing hard about it. It's who's gonna go in and do the work and put in the volume of time, whether it's 10,000 hours, shots on goal, whatever it is. How many people are gonna put in the time into what's called trustee training? What's trustee training? First of all, you gotta know what money is. People want to sit here and say, oh man, I know about the money. I don't know about the money. Well, if you're a trustee, you know about money. Some people may say, oh, Trust Christian, I think I know about money. Then why you poor? Why you don't have $1,000 in the bank account? Why you don't have more than $10,000 in the bank account? Some people can say, oh, how come you don't have $100,000? No, we could just get into investment accounts. So let's talk about it. It's like, okay, well, what passive investments do you have right now? What skill sets do you have that are paying you? Right. People try to get rich on this Bitcoin stuff. Oh man, Trust Christian, I've been trying to get rich on Bitcoin and all this stupid crypto stuff, and we ain't met one. I mean, whether y'all know it or not, we're around the right people. So it isn't, oh, Trust Christian, you're not around these wealthy young people that they billionaires off of the crypto. No. First of all, the crypto lost value recently, so that means people lost value in their portfolio. Now, if y'all want to say they got in early and they're still in, then great. But at the end of the day, we know people that got in later and they still lost their shirt. So, certain people say, oh, you hanging around with bums and not really smart people. First of all, we're around people that damn near created the Bitcoin ETF. What are you talking about? So we understand the sector. But if that's the case, it's not made for unaccredited investors. Y'all want to go there? Y'all want to talk about it? Let's talk about it in the public. Is Bitcoin available? Should Bitcoin be available for unaccredited investors? Because as it stands right now, it's still above what will be considered a accredited investor investment. It's above an unaccredited investor investment. You have to be an accredited investor to even touch certain type of investments. But Bitcoin, somehow you don't have to be accredited. Okay, great. And that's why people put money in and they lose it. Oh, you could do that? Nah, you're not doing that with Nvidia stock. The Magnificent Seven. Y'all want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Because you're not losing money. Over the past 5 years, none of the stocks have lost price. But Bitcoin seems to keep taking people's wealth because they'll get in late and they lose. That's not the case with the Magnificent Seven. We're not promoting the Magnificent Seven. What we're talking about is understanding what we talk about. Money. So if you got money, you might want to make the money work for you. That's the purpose of having it. But far too many, they in the mindset of, oh man, I'm supposed to work for money. Now money's your master. Because you're not in a position where the money's working for you. But I wasn't taught that in public school. That's all that is. That's the only excuse they can say. I wasn't taught that. If you were taught in public school how to make the money make money for you, you wouldn't be working for money. But clearly, people were taught by people that what? They work for money. It's called a school teacher. It's called a principal. The janitor. The custodians. How do you get around that? You got to get radical, baby. You got to get radical. You got to get... It's just... the people don't understand how hard it is to get rid of the clutches of mediocrity. You got people taking time off. They gonna make you feel comfortable as time. It's so funny. Today is considered Mother's Day in America, and we didn't even think about that. The only reason most people, the people that think about Mother's Day first is the ones that's gonna make money off of it. But people don't want to hear that. And the second group of people that think about Mother's Day is the ones that's consumers. Those the only two people think about Mother's Day. You think your mother thinking about Mother's Day every day? Thinking about Mother's Day outside of every day, outside of Mother's Day on that day? No. Why? Because she's a consumer about it. Why else would you be talking about Mother's Day?
Why would you name a day Mother's Day? It's for the business owners and the consumers. We got to keep it simple. So when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, trusteeship, it requires a fiduciary mindset. Some people say, oh, we got trustees. We have many trustees. Go back to law school, go back to finance school.
And it's just like, you don't have to do that. You can. You don't have to.
You can. You don't have to. So what do? They so many people, man. They made it hard because of their public school education. Oh man, trust Christian. This is the way I was trained to work for money. How you gonna have generational wealth and you working for money? The money's supposed to work for somebody else. So that means it's supposed to work for you. Why is it so challenging? Cause they don't understand their mindset is tied up in working for money. And we talk to trustees about this, they think, oh man, I'm gonna be a generational wealthier kind of guy. You're not gonna be generational wealth. We know people that got a $5 million business, and y'all don't even want to know that the lawyers and the accountants that they was associating with, they dang near was telling them they had to have $10 million to have the foundation. Y'all want to talk about this? Let's talk about it, because you don't want to know what goes on behind closed doors when you're sitting here saying, oh yeah, I know about that trust stuff. How do you know about the trust stuff? You let the public attorneys and the accountants say you got to have $5 million. You got to have $5 million. Let them tell you that. Oh man, I gotta have $5 million to even get in. I gotta have $10 million to even get that foundation stuff started. Yeah, right. That's the sad part about it. They think they need to have all of this stuff that's unnecessary. It's just straight cockamamie. It's straight cockamamie. It's bad business. But what can you say, ladies and gentlemen? What can you say? They really think, oh man, I gotta have this much money in here. No, you focused on doing planning. Just don't get mad that you selected a player and they can't catch the deep route. You got a player that can't kick the ball in the hole. They over here wobbling and squibbling and moving through the field. Like, that's great. Yeah, you got good footwork, but you're not scoring touchdowns. You're not making the ball go in the basket. The basket is the goal and objective. You think if you make $5 million a year, you think you want to keep paying more in taxes, knowing the more you make, the more you're gonna more you're gonna supposedly get taxed. It's stupid. And then you got people sitting at the so-called bottom. You're at the bottom of the totem pole talking about, I don't know if it's illegal. I don't know if that's legal to do that. What are you talking about? You want to condemn wealthy people for not paying taxes, but then gonna sit here and say, well, you have to pay. It's your duty at a lower level. And then people will say, oh, it's a fugazi. It's not a fugazi. You have to understand the system. It's a system. Just like we live in a solar system, there's a legal system. It's a tax system. All you gotta do is know the system. There's nothing wrong with the system. The system was, hey, look, yeah, I want to hear the raw doggy truth. Raw doggy truth from trustees. The system was rare. The system was built by wealthy people. They were wealthy in mindset. So you have the system. It was created by wealthy people. And you have to make a decision. Are you going to let the laws abuse you? Or are you just going to use the law? Now, some people don't want to deal with the law. Whatever. At the end of the day, unless you're going to be Amish or something like that, like we talked to mentors about stuff like that. They're like, oh yeah, you want to be Amish? Or it's like, nah, we love we love beautiful things. So, if you're going to be a part of the financing system that the world currently has in place with the fiat, then you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And we're just gonna go ahead and say it. A lot of people don't know what to do. They gonna say, "Oh man, financial literacy and all this stuff," and it's just like, well, at the end of the day, you haven't made your decision that you're going to be the 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 business person that you need to be for your family. A lot of people will say, "Well, I don't know where to start. I don't know what business I want to start," or they'll say, and not only that, they gonna get into a business and then they haven't read Robert Kiyosaki or E-Myth, so they don't know that they supposed to do business with other people, not do business by themselves. That's just bottom line. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do business. Well, okay. Why does it need to be a sole proprietorship? Why did the attorneys make it be a sole proprietorship? You're not a doctor. You're not a lawyer. Why don't you hire other people to do the work? Because you haven't been trained in how to do that. And so the easiest way to get around that is what? To go and continue your education and training as a business person. Man, I got to get around people that can show me how to hire the right people and find the right people. That's what you invest in a private education for. That's what you reach out to the vault for. To find, okay, so if I have, if I have, what is it, like, if I'm going to start a business, well, you start a business and now you know, okay, I'm going to hire employees. I'm going to bring in a marketing person. I'm going to bring in this person. I'm bringing that person. We can tell you, the to be honest with you, if it isn't hard, you got to make it not hard. That's just bottom line. Oh man, Trust Christian, it's so hard. Well, it's going to keep being hard. And the sooner you want to change your mindset towards this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm living, this is what it is, then you're going to keep getting the same results, or the results going to vary. But if you, ain't no way you're going to sit here and say, oh, Trust Christian, if I go do wealthy things, that doesn't mean that I'm wealthy. Well, what are you doing right now? Watching TV? What are you doing right now? You going to middle class restaurants? That's what you doing? And you saying that's not middle class stuff? So when you engage in wealthy activities, you're displaying your wealthy self. That's what you don't want to hear if you don't want to hear it. But if you want to hear it, then you know, oh man, Trust Christian. We done talked to trustees about that. Oh man, when's the last time you visited your dream? And they sitting on the line with us playing dumb. You don't need to play dumb with Trust Christian in the vault. We already know you're like ash. When something's smoked, you're ash. You're smoked. You don't have a vision for your life. You don't have a real dream. It's not real for you. It may be real for somebody on social media, but it's not real for you. That Lamborghini's not real for you. That nice house isn't real for you. Living debt free, that's not real for you. Having excess amounts of money, that's not for you. Is that what we talking about here? Because when we ask you what's your dream, and you say, oh man, I don't have a dream car. Well, clearly, how you need generational wealth? What do you need to be in trusteeship for? I don't have a dream car. You think wealthy people don't have dream cars? We around them. We're around other wealthy people. We talk about stuff like that. Whether it's a new car, whether it's a new house, whether it's a new jet, whether it's a new yacht, whether it's a new business, whether it's a new charity. What y'all want to talk about? Like, y'all will make it seem like wealthy people don't have charities. If wealthy people have charities, we are giving money away to other charities. We are doing charitable work. We are doing something that we actually enjoy and love as well. So how could you sit here and say, oh man, being wealthy, that's miserable, man. That's some miserable stuff, man. You see, we're gonna go ahead and give y'all we're gonna give y'all a wealthy complaint. We'll give you a wealthy complaint so you can understand what wealthy people complain about. Like, oh man, I'm complaining about not having the money in the relationships because I don't know nobody wealthy. We'll give y'all two plugs. First one is, we was talking to one of our business, someone we know, wealthy individual, actually dropped one of their interviews the other day, Levon. Shout out to Levon. And she said to us, she said, what did she say to us? We'll get back to that point because she gave us a really good point about, you know, wealthy people. And it's so important to understand that, oh, yeah, she was like, she was like, you know what? See, a lot of people, they want money.
And we were like, yeah, yeah, everybody, wants to get some money from the bank or whatever. We talking about that. And she said, but the thing about it is, she was like, the thing about like the relationships that we have in wealthy rooms, she was like, these are relationships that you actually have to come build. You have to get outside. You have to come build these relationships directly. And she was sharing that with us, and she's like, because some people want somebody to write a $2 million check, a $5 million check, a $10 million check, and they can do it from their own pocket. Well, you have to build a relationship with those people. You have to build a relationship with those people. How you expect somebody to write you a check and you ain't even building a relationship with them? You're not coming outside, stepping into the rooms with them, building a relationship with them. And that's what we learn. We learn, are you. And that's the thing. So many broke people. Oh, you so broke, you don't even know who's wealthy. You don't even know what a wealthy person look like. Oh man, I don't know what wealthy look like. Yeah, you don't know what wealthy looks like. You don't know what wealthy, and that's the problem. Is some people, it's like weird. It's like, oh man, I don't really know what wealthy looks like. Yeah, that's the problem. How you gonna be able to have a wealthy friend and identify being with somebody wealthy if you're not around wealthy people? Oh man, right. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just proud of ourselves over at the Focus. We did it just always pushing ourselves like we gotta get outside, we gotta get around other wealthy people. And we're not talking about the fake and the funk wealthy people. Oh, I'm driving around in my Lamborghini or my McLaren or my Rolls Royce Cullinan or walking around with designer clothes on. Like, no. The wealthy people that we know, we could almost say we do know the nouveau riche, as they call it. We like to call them the nouveau riche. The nouveau riche will wear that, but our older wealthy counterparts that are I mean, these guys, you don't even know how. When you're managing $1 billion, you can kind of see you clearly are okay. But the thing about it is, they show up with like, man, you don't want to know. We're not gonna sit here and say they wearing middle class shoes, but they're not always going top end. Like, sure, they might get their shoes made, but that's not necessary. You see a lot of the guys, families. I mean, you say, okay, what is a wealthy tool or like something wealthy people have? A lot of wealthy people will have jewelry, so that's how you know they're wealthy, like through a ring, through a watch, through a brooch, through some type of like scent that they're wearing. Might be a really old antique scent. Anything that like you could see that on them, but first of all, we're in a room with other wealthy individuals, and no one's wearing anything to stand out. Surprisingly, you'd be like, damn, I wonder who's the richest in here right now. Who's richest at the table? How would we be able to tell that? That's the funny part about it. We all sit at the table. All of us got a different, our name, the name next to our numbers is all different. But one thing we do is we have mutual respect for each other, and once again, when you sitting at the table with people, clearly, if no one's wearing anything to stand out, we clearly are equal. We're clearly equal for that conversation. And that's where so many fail. Oh man, I don't know if I could get in the room, and I don't know. Yeah, you don't know because you're not working on what you're supposed to be saying. You're supposed to be working on what you're supposed to be saying. So where are we at now? We're at the place where you are in a position where, hey, many people, they want to be around other trustees and the information that they need to get. Some people say, oh, I want to do what you do, Trust Christian. Oh, you want to do what Trust Christian do, huh? Okay, you don't want to know. Trust Christian has tracked his life for 10 years straight. Are you going to start, or when are you going to do it? You don't want to know. Some people could sit here and say, oh yeah, I kind of tracked mine. No, because sure, anybody could track it. Like, yeah, you track the days, great. Now you start tracking days, then you start tracking hours. Okay, great. There are mentors that we have that they track the minutes of the day that they're awake. You don't want to hear that because you're not an elite trustee. You're not going to be an elite trustee. You're going to be just somebody, oh man, I'm going to try it. Yeah, you don't want to know that elite trustees are actually tracking their minutes in a day. Like, really? You don't even want to know. What's an elite trustee? Somebody that has truly generational wealth. No doubt about it. They're tracking their minutes. We're talking elite. We're talking billionaire status. Oh no, Trust Christian. That's unreal. That's unreal right there. We know it's unreal to you. We gonna share something with y'all. One of the senior mentors share with us. Said, Trust Christian, you gotta build the value of your time. So when the value of your time is no longer around, people will benefit from the time that you did value those things you did. And those things that we're talking about are the things that you worked on, things that you put time and energy into, and they're going to come back. And not only that, they could benefit other people. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. Christian at TrustChristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at TrustChristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all, whether it's for a consultation. We recently went to a conference. We got that available. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of times, we would like to see more trustees that are focused on having a proper business mindset. You gotta have a proper business mindset. Some trustees think they could be inconsistent. That's something that we really wanted to address as a trustee at the vault. Was like, it's just one of the things you think you're gonna try trusteeship and you're not gonna try it. You're not gonna try trusteeship. There's no way you could try trusteeship. You have to be all in. You have to sell out, and that's probably what a lot of trustees haven't done, is they haven't committed to trusteeship. Like, meaning, like, oh, we'll give you an example. Okay, it might come a time where you might question, damn, am I doing enough? Or dang, should I do this or do that? Okay, for example, there's a there are conferences that we go to every year, and people get familiar and they used to seeing your face. Well, once again, you gotta build relationships with money. So once they start seeing your face, then they know, okay, this person's like, they got some money to be in here. Okay, great. So what happens when you don't go? You're not being consistent, and by you not being consistent, you know how you gonna expect your wealth to be consistent and you not consistently showing up for your wealth in the wealthy rooms? That's just bottom line. Some people say, oh man, I spent my last to go to the wealthy room. You didn't really spend your last. It's really just investing in your wealth. That's all you doing. Is it takes money to make money. You have so much money in the bank, at one point the bank, they gonna charge you just to manage the money. That's just real talk. You don't want to hear that though. That's a wealthy complaint. A wealthy complaint is as one of our wealthy complaints is that the bank charge us money for holding our money because we have so much money in the bank. Like, well, really, for real, you gonna charge me points on it? Yeah, because you're creating a displacement at the bank. People they're not used to that though. You ain't got that much money in the bank to give a damn bank a displacement. But yeah, the bank would easily, it's going to cause a displacement on the public side. Because think about it, they already tell you in the public bank that they only insuring $250,000. So what happens when you have more than $250,000 in there? You just have a displacement. The bank is paid to lend out money. The bank is paid to have not just depositing relationships, but relationships that, okay, we can insure the 250, but what about the rest of it? Right, now we got a liability on our books. That's how the bank looks at it. You don't want to hear that though. That is a banking nightmare for them if they say, why? Because they not used to that type of stuff. So when you go to you can go to the private bank and they'll insure more. Sure, that's the case. But people don't even want to hear it. They try to think they in trusteeship. Oh, I'm in trusteeship. I'm going trusteeship. Next thing you know, they get in with the private banking and they didn't fulfill it. They didn't master the private banking yet. Is that what it is? That's all it is. They didn't master the private banking yet. But the private banking is right there hand in hand with the trust. How you gonna do public banking but you don't know private banking? Y'all want to talk about that? How you gonna do public banking and you don't know private banking? You were thrown into the banking system just like you were thrown into Social Security. So how do we get around this? How do we get around these you not being consistent. We can tell you right now, you got to dedicate yourself to consistency. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. Dedicate yourself to consistency. You got a fighting chance. Whatever it is, you got to dedicate yourself to consistency, because if you don't, you can't see the fruits of the labor. It's going to be labored in vain. It's going to be part time. There are no part time entrepreneurs. It's full time. It's no part time trustees. Think about it. That's why you getting the results you're getting as a trustee if you're doing it part time. We can tell you that right now. Trustees that are handling it part time are getting part time results. That's just what it is. So how do you get around it? You got to dedicate yourself to it. You got to commit yourself to it. And there's when you hear anything that's related to it, you go all in. That's the difference. But see, we already know what it is. We're gonna go ahead and tell y'all what it is, so y'all can be very clear before we hop off. What the mentor say? The mentor told you. He said it's what? He said it's emotional. Why? Because if you come from poverty, if you come from middle class, think about it. There's so many people that are going to keep you in your comfort zone. Why would you need to be wealthy? You don't need to be wealthy. You don't have what do you need to be wealthy for? What do you need $300 million for? Let them tell you, what do you need $300 million for? What do you need? What's the other number? What do you need $1 billion for? No one needs $1 billion, you know. No one needs $1 billion. That's why you don't need $1 billion. You're not even going to spend $1 billion. That's how broke they are. They can't even spend $1 billion because they're so broke. But we talking about you. You don't need $100 million. $100 million, that's a lot of money. You don't need that. Then when you finally get $100 million, you're sitting there like, and we're gonna go through it. You get $100 million and you still sit at the table. We still sit at the table with people that they got billions. They got it's a B, and it's multiple. It's a B. And you sitting there, oh man, I got $150 million. It's like, well, okay, you're sitting next to somebody that got $700 million. Their family estate is that in doubt. It's a real thing. It's not maybes, it's real. And you're sitting there like, dang. Are you going to make those decisions? Are you going to make those decisions that you're going to be the quiet wealth that we deal with? The true quiet wealth. We're talking about quiet wealth. Like, money sit at the table. It's crazy how we just been in this environment for so long and you get so used to it. It's like, for real, it's like, yeah, because why? Otherwise, where are you going to go to? Backyard barbecues, baby? What are you talking about? We've been around with the people who ain't never had a daggone backyard barbecue. And that ain't no... We always have gatherings and we always got food catered. And it's barbecue. It's just catered. So, what you gonna pass out backyard barbecues from your old neighborhood? Or you gonna be like, dang man, I can't leave my old neighborhood. I can't leave the backyard barbecues because there's a wealthy trip going on and I wanna be there. And that's the difference. We don't know if it hurts. We don't really care. We just know that you get to the point in your life where y'all gotta make some tough decisions as a trustee. We look forward to hearing from you. The time is only now. So you being the best trustee you could be, that comes to you making that switch. It's no more job mentality. Oh man, if it's a job, you got a job for the family estate. Then you got people out here trying to convince you, oh, your job's supposed to be your first investor for your business. Yeah, that's because you come from poverty. Because if you didn't, you would just say, you know what? My family's going to make sure I'm straight. I got to make sure I'm building a business. That's what your job is, to build the business. Not to sit here and make excuses for why you got to build the business. You got to build the business because that's what a trustee does.
You want to know why it's so challenging to build a business? Because you don't know nobody that built a business. And when you do know people that build businesses, then you get around them and you ask them questions and you implement the practices, the strategies, not make excuses. It's not about a $150 LLC. It's about you saying, you know what, man, I'm working 40 hours a week doing this stuff. Now I got to put in some more hours doing this. And I got to transition. Correct. Is it a mindset? It's more than a mindset. It's an emotional set. It's getting out your comfort zone. That's the emotional set. And we can tell you right now, just like you feel like, oh man, I hate poverty. You hate it, right? That's the same way you gonna feel about it when you wealthy. You're supposed to detest poverty. You're supposed to detest not having enough money. You're supposed to detest it, not embrace it and say, well, I accept this for the temporary rate now. No, it's not accepting it. It's pushing yourself beyond your limits to say, you know what, I'm going to keep putting in the work regardless of the outside, and I know that I'm wealthy on the inside. I have to stay focused, wealthy on the inside. Why? Because do you see the wealth on the outside right now? Do y'all see the wealth on the outside for yourself? And y'all, we gonna go ahead and end it on this. This is one of the mentors prepared. And we said we want to follow what mentors do. You said, man, your health is your wealth. The mentor said that's what wealth. That's what poor people say. It's like, for real. That's what poor people say. Your health is your wealth. No, they're telling you your wealth is your wealth. Your health is your health. Peace and joy.